My name is Sonia Schloeman. I'm the small fruit specialist for UMass Extension. And what we're looking at here is a planting about an acre of wine grapes. These were planted a year ago this spring, so this is their second leaf. And we have two varieties, two blocks that are separated by a sort of a headland area. In between them, the block closest to us is a variety called Frontenac, which is a hybrid wine grape variety. And the block on the other side, further away from us, is Chardonel, which is a white wine grape variety. The Frontenacs are grown without grafting. They're own rooted, and the Chardonels are grafted on a rootstock, a 3309 rootstock. These are both being trained in essentially the same system, which is a high cordon system. The goal this year was to get the vine growth up to the top wire and growing along the top wire so that we have the trunk established and the cordons established so that next year we can actually hang some fruit on these vines. We have left a few clusters of fruit occasionally here and there on the stronger vines just so that we can satisfy our own curiosity of what they look like, how they taste, a little bit about the characteristics of the fruit itself. But essentially the idea with grapes is to wait until the third year before you actually allow them to fruit. So next year we'll have some fruit on these, and certainly 2 years from now when we have the tour here again, we should have some nice fruit hanging on these vines for you to look at. The funding for this particular project came through our UMass experiment station. It's a 3-year project that was funded to put in a demonstration vineyard at this site, and we're looking for a couple of other sites to put in some demonstrations so that growers can get familiar with what wine grape varieties can do for us in New England. We have some wine grape growing regions in the eastern part of the state along the coast that are much more moderated, and we can actually grow some vinifera varieties that are more winter tender. But the hybrid varieties, there's new varieties being developed all the time. In fact, Cornell just released 3 new ones recently in the last week that are much more hardy and cold tolerant and produce some decent wines that can be grown in some of the colder areas of New England. We have some new vineyards going in Vermont and New Hampshire, and in addition to some of the more traditional areas of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. I think altogether we probably have about 1,000 acres in New England of wine grapes growing right now. So it's kind of a new area, and we are trying to do what we can to learn about the ways in which wine grape vines grow so that we can help work with growers that want to get into this. So I'll mention also that the source of the vines that we purchased to plant this vineyard, there are 2 different nurseries that we bought vines from, and one of them is represented here today, AA Vineyards from New York. We have a representative here. If you raise your hand, there's some catalogs also down at the packing house for you to look at, and certainly any questions that you might have can be directed there. And those are the Chardonels, the grafted vines we got from AA. The Frontenacs we got from a nursery in Vermont, actually. A new nursery that has just recently come online in Vermont. So they produce some very nice Frontenac vines that we planted. So